Here we are at Pedals and Effects, 5-Star Sound Labs. Nick, Tera Melos. Nick Reinhart is going to let us know how you get an 808 sound with some weird DoD envelope.
Okay, so this, I call it the Snowman, because it's got a sticker that says Snowman on it. It's the very, very first pedal in my second board over here. And it's just a DoD envelope filter, one of these kind of like, I guess, a 90s one where they started doing the separate design on it and gave you the more standard little power supply thing. So this was one of my first pedals that I had kind of messed around with, I guess, circuit bending. I did an even way more crude version, and I don't even think it's fair to call it circuit bending. Basically, I had this pedal. It kind of just made these nerdy, kind of like quacky duck sounds. So I kind of pop it open. This is probably maybe in like 2004, 2005, that I had just started tweaking or hearing about circuit bend stuff. And I thought, okay, that doesn't sound that difficult. You just kind of go in and start messing around with different points on the board. So I cut up a pair of headphones. So I had a piece of, like, insulated wire. And I take this thing, I turn it around, I run a loop through it so I can just get a sound so I don't have to, like, be playing guitar going through it. And basically I just start taking this speaker wire and just pressing it to different points on the back of this, the little computer board inside, until I got this crazy thing. I mean, it must have been hours, because if you think about opening up a pedal and looking at it, there's, 200 little points, little kind of silvery, bizarre transistors and capacitors and all this stuff, and you can just literally take wire, insulated wire, and go from point to point while sound's going through, and you get fucked up stuff. All of a sudden you go like, oh, that's crazy, like something's really cool is happening there. So I kind of like made little marks of these two little points of where I found this really, really neat sound, and it's so primitive and crude inside, I didn't even solder it. I think they were kind of just these two little poles inside that I wrapped the speaker wire around and then just put a piece of electrical tape. So it's not even actually soldered inside, and there's no switch on it to activate it or whatever. It's just kind of there with electrical tape and kind of ghetto style. And so it's kind of got a mind of its own, but usually it would be kind of like a little weird quacky sound, which I still get the quacky sound, but when you pair it with different distortions and kind of overdrive it, kind of get these really, really slow sounds, and it's tricky to get. It's so finicky and exactly where you want it, but then when you throw on kind of like Awesome, Nick. Hey, I gotta ask you this before I forget. Okay. Is your right leg a lot stronger now because you're always standing on it? Because I find mine is too, because I'm always like... Actually, it's not only that. You have two pedal boards, so I guess you're both standing on both of them. There's a lot, but I mean, actually, it's not only my right leg, but I feel like, I don't know how physically this works, but something is so funky with my right shoulder, and I've been to chiropractors and massage therapists, and they say there's a lot of weirdness going on here, and I don't know how it would, like I say, physically work, but from, this or standing on it, yeah, there's a lot of stress and looking down. Looking down is a big thing, because I know I didn't have neck problems until I started doing pedal boards, because you're never looking up, and that's the worst posture you could be, is looking down. And so my lower back gets tweaked because of that. So anyway, I know I can feel your pain. Absolutely. And dude, it wasn't even until like a few months ago when I started getting all these pinched nerves and really weird stuff happening that I realized, out of the whatever I guess 1,500 shows I've played, probably 90% of the time is looking down.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And standing on one foot or whatever, doing these kind of weird pedal yoga poses.
Yes, yeah.
You know, so yeah, it's really weird. And it's probably kind of like permanently jacked my back.
Oh,
my
hey,
neck, but,
hey,
man,
yeah.
you know. I mean, like, come on, it's worth it. You know what I mean?
That sound is awesome. It does. It sounds like an 808 to me. It has that and now, of course, I hear that sound and I'm like, oh, I got to figure out how to do that, and then I'm going to throw the meat box at the end, and it literally will be an 808 once I do that.
Yeah,
which is awesome.
So that's the Snowman envelope filter, and that is another one that's just kind of always on there. Let's see. So there's a lot of fun things to do with a tweaked envelope filter.
I mean, everybody's going to start writing to you for one of those DoD.
Dude, yeah, show me the mod on the back.
No, you should just do it. Like, send me your pedal and $150 and I'm modding yours for you.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know, man. I just had some cut up speaker wire and got there. Okay, so after the Snowman comes this little glorious weirdo, the Earthquaker Devices Rainbow Machine, which that was kind of the one that I saw everyone talking about. I mean, it's like, I feel like Earthquaker is blowing up on that pedal alone. All their stuff seems really, really like amazing, but this thing is rad. I have, in this whole board, I've got, I guess, 3 different kind of like delay modulators going, and we were talking about like, oh, why do you like delay modulators? Well, it's like, because they're rad. You know, I like that unpredictable kind of like, you can't use that sound for anything, you know, or at least that's what you would kind of assume, but then you think outside the box and you can do some really cool stuff with it. So this thing, that's minus this cool magic button. Of course, there's a button called the magic button, which is rad.
Yes.